Welcome to another episode of 90 Day Fiancé before the 90 days. I'm going to go ahead and apologize now. First of all, I am filming at night. Secondly, I am filming with the entire family here. So if you hear some shenanigans, a baby screaming, a dad yelling, you know, melanated. Let's talk about this lip color. I'm not wearing a crazy lip color because I did not get my mustache removed. You know, when you wear a bright color, it highlights your mustache. All of a sudden you're like, oh, didn't know I had that. So I had to wear a darker color. I love this. This is the Infallible Paints Metallics by L'Oreal. It's something that recently came out. It has a bunch of different colors. The Metallics only has about 4 different or 5 different colors, but then the other line, the matte line, has a lot of colors. Also, a crazy color would have clashed with this top. I'm also wearing all of the highlighter all over my entire body. So welcome. All right, let's jump right into this episode. So I was so excited when this recorded because I was like, ooh, 2 hours. 2 hours of 90 Day Fiancé, I thought. So the latter half of it is 90 Day Fiancé, What Now? Filled with a bunch of couples whom I do not know. Except for I vaguely have a memory of watching the wedding of the Jamaican guy and the white lady. So I kind of knew their story because I knew that her sister did not like him. You know, I can't discover couples from old season. So for this first scene, we start off with Paul and Karine. Where we left off the last time is he has just asked her to get a pregnancy and STD check. She's upset, but she agrees to do it. They now have been in the Amazon or been in her town for about a week. So it's time for them to go to a more major, more populated city. They take about a 24-hour ride to the nearest city, and Paul lugs along all of his military grade luggage, meaning the duffel bag, his regular backpack, and the 4 footlockers. Anyway, so they get to the resort hotel, and Paul mentions that he spent a lot of money on this resort hotel because they're now in a bigger city and the crime rate is higher, and so he wants to make sure that they are safe. Personally, I hope that he has a lot of $1 bills so that he can go on ahead and tip everybody he needs to tip, because that resort hotel could still be a little shady if he's not tipping the proper people, okay? Let me tell you. I think they go to a place called Malaus. That's how he pronounces it, so I might be saying it wrong because I'm listening to him. Karine loves the resort. She wants to get intimate, and she's like, you know, now that we're not with my parents anymore, like, when can we do the do? And he's like, well, you need to go get tested. And she's like, okay, then let's go get tested then. Like, puts it into her phone, her translator, and she like says, so let's go. And he's like, oh, you magically are just speaking more and more English every day. And I'm like, yeah, as you should be magically speaking more and more Portuguese every day. She's saying, like, look, if he doesn't trust me after this, and like, he's going back to America by himself because I'm not dealing with it. Like, she doesn't think it's fair that he doesn't trust her and that she has to go through all this when she's not making him do this. And I'm like, yeah, girl, I agree with you 100%. So then we go back to Antonio and Courtney. And if you remember last time, we left off with Antonio and Courtney. Courtney has been waiting for 2 hours for Antonio to show up. He finally gets there and he's like, no, we have to go to a pageant. She is feeling sweaty and disgusting, and she just got off a plane and she's tired and jet lagged. And he's like, no, we have to go. I'm so late. He doesn't even offer like, hey, you know, maybe you want to stay at my apartment and get ready and meet me there, or do you want to stay at my apartment, but I have to go to this and I'm really sorry. It was bad timing. I didn't figure it out. He's such an idiot. So anyway, she goes with him and he's like, okay, we're gonna get there. I'm gonna try to get you to sit as close to it as possible. But on the way there, he's trying to like hug up and kiss up on her, but she feels hot, sweaty, and dirty and doesn't know how she smells. And he has the audacity to tell her that she's cold. You know, she's frigid, that she doesn't want to like hug and kiss and touch on him. And she's like, I don't know if I smell or not. And he's like, oh, are you excited? And he says it in such a way that she doesn't know what he's talking about. Girl, I just feel like she's so tired that she can't even understand his English sometimes. Then he has the audacity to bring in the driver of the Uber or the car they're in, the taxi, and it's like, oh yeah, don't you think she's frigid? Don't you think she's a cold American? I thought that was really rude and stupid, and it wasn't even funny. So then we jump to Larry and Jenny. He's at his layover, but he tries to call Jenny. He still has phone service. He tries to call her and she doesn't answer, and he's like all nervous. Totally, it takes him 30 hours to get to the Philippines. He gets there. His phone doesn't have any service. He goes to look for his bags, and girl, no bags. They have left his bags in the United States, and he is so bummed out. And that is traveler's lesson number 1. Always bring an extra pair of clothes and underwear and stuff in your travel carry-on, because you never know what happens to your bag. So bring the essentials in a carry-on so that you can be able to freshen up wherever you go. At least have one night, if you don't have your clothes, that you have at least something that is yours, you know? Like, upset and annoyed, which I would be, you know, 100%. So he's absolutely right for feeling that way. He's now, again, worried that she's not going to be there waiting for him because he hasn't spoken to her. I have a feeling that, like, he's a little bit of a worrywart, and it's kind of off-putting a little. So then we jump to Patrick and Miriam. So last where we left off with them, Patrick has just landed in Paris. They see each other at the airport. They're both really excited to see each other. She then takes him to his Airbnb or his hotel or wherever, proceeds to, like, you know, show him around Paris. She takes him to a place where she likes to have lunch, and she's decided that she's going to reveal her secret to him. So excited, like, you know, he's never been out of the country, and he's seeing this girl that I guess he's been in love with for this entire time. They sit down, and he's like, tell me about yourself. Like, have you ever dated a black guy? And how many boyfriends have you had? And she's like, boyfriends. So the voiceover, the little confessional in this, she talks about how she met Patrick in 2016 when she was single, and it was fun because she was talking long distance to a guy in America. Nothing serious, you know, just having a good time chatting with somebody who was cute, and she never thought he would come to Paris to see her. Never in a million years. So when she got a boyfriend, she just, like, didn't feel the need to tell him, because this is what I'm really thinking, that she's not falling in love with Patrick the way he's falling in love with her. Like, she's just going along with it. But I think Patrick thought that he was going to swoop up this innocent Parisian girl, and she was going to be the woman of his dreams. He had already decided that she was so different than every other woman he'd ever met, and he was laying down his player ways and giving up his life and putting all these things on the line to be with her. And I'm just like, this is an experience, Patrick. Like, you put way too much into this. She's like, I never knew that that's how you felt. And he's like, why didn't you ask? And I'm just like, Patrick, why didn't you tell her? Why didn't you say, hey Miriam, I'm falling in love with you, and you're the girl of my dreams, and I'm going to come to Paris to meet you because I love you so much and I want you to be my girlfriend. Had he said that, I have every faith in Miriam that she would have said, uh-oh, no, don't come here, I have a boyfriend. He says it in 2016, and all of a sudden he tells her she's coming, and she doesn't know what to do. And it's ridiculous for him to think that she wouldn't assume that he had someone, because, like, that's how people are. She says to him, you know what, I'm sorry, I can't be your girlfriend, but I can be a great tour guide, and I don't want you to go home from this. I want you to enjoy Paris, and I can show you around Paris. And I thought that was really great of her to be like, look, I can't give you that, and I'm really sorry you came down here, but you're here. Like, let's enjoy Paris together. Let's get to know each other. Let's be cool. He thought he was gonna, like, make a love connection, I guess, and bring her back to America, like, back to Kentucky? Bruh. Like, what did Patrick think? Patrick thinks he is so fly. That is what he thinks. And so he walks away mad, and he's like, I don't even know if I want to stay here. And she's just, like, feeling bad. And yeah, she is to blame a little bit, but, like, Patrick is a fool. Girl, you were in Paris. Live your life. You know what I'm saying? Like, go see the Louvre, meet some other Parisian and hook up. Like, since you're so fly, like, anybody want to come back to Kentucky and live with you? Especially if you haven't even had that conversation. What are you talking about? Antonio and Courtney, we're back to them again. Courtney is really tired and hot. She tells Antonio, she texts him. She's texting him all throughout the pageant. He's, like, low-key kind of annoying, ignoring her and talking to other people. She's in the audience, and she's like, nah, people are jostling her, and she's hot. So she gets up and leaves, and she tells him she's leaving. He turns around and looks for her, but she's already gone. And she's standing outside. She's like, doesn't know what she's gonna do. She says she's gonna leave. And then finally Antonio comes out. Girl, it turns out 5 hours later, they have been at this pageant for 5 hours. It's like ever since she touched down in Spain, this whole entire experience has been shitty. She's better than me. She is better than me. So he comes up to her and he's like, Courtney, where are you? I don't see you anymore. You're gone. It was really hot in there and I didn't know what to do. And, like, I didn't know it was going to take 5 hours. I'm really tired. And he's like, okay, well, where do you want to go? Do you want to go to the hotel? Do you want to stay at my apartment? And she's just like, well, I thought I was staying with you. I mean, I don't have a hotel. And I'm just like, why is there so much up in the air? She had to have known that she was going to stay with him. Otherwise, she would have Biggie bounced a long time ago. And maybe he's asking that because he knows that she's upset, so he's giving her an out. But, like, she's a grown woman. Like, she could just easily say, like, I'm not staying with you. I'm going to my hotel, but I'm getting a hotel. I don't know what you're talking about. This girl came with 2 backpacks, a big backpack and a small backpack. Does he really think she got a hotel? No. That's not what happened. They get back to his apartment. She's really tired, and it's a really small apartment, but I guess she thought it was even smaller than it was, and I don't know how she could have ever thought that because it was teeny tiny. And she's just like, well, are you going to sleep on the couch? And he's like, no, I have a big bed, and it's like a loft. It's like a loft, maybe a full size. I don't know how big it is, but I can't imagine it's a queen. I can't imagine it's this big up in the air. I mean, maybe it was. I can't even imagine the like that small space that they were in. She's just like, no. And I'm beneath the bed, which is literally to the ceiling, and it's such a small space, is a mini couch. Like, he doesn't even have a full couch. Like, it's bigger than a love seat, but it's not a full-size couch. And she makes him sleep on the couch, and she's just like, I don't know what he thought it was gonna be, but it wasn't gonna be that. Like, I'm hot and sweaty, and I'm gonna make him work for it. And low-key, Antonio thought that she was gonna be easy because that's how he thought. His friends told him that American girls were fast, so, you know, he was confused. But he slept on the couch, and he was like, I'll sleep on it tonight, but I don't know about tomorrow night. All right, so next we jump back to Jenny and Larry. So Larry gets off the plane, and he's like, I think she threw these doors. I hope she threw these doors. He's so nervous and babbling, and it's so dumb. And he sees her, and he's so excited, and he goes up to her, and he's babbling, and they do that, you know, thing where they're both standing and looking at the camera, and the producers are asking questions, and, you know, he's like, oh, I'm so happy. She's so much more beautiful in person than she is on pictures. And he's like, what do you think about me, babe? And she's like, yes, you are very handsome, or whatever. I don't think she's expecting Larry to be as much of a goofy doofus as he is, because she literally is like, what's wrong with you? Are you nervous? And he's just like, yeah, you know, I'm really hot and tired, I'm sweaty, you know, I didn't get a chance to dress up for you and change because I lost my bags. They lost my bags, they left them, and won't come for 2 days. And she's like, what? They left your bags? And he's like, yeah, so we're gonna have to get some clothes so that I can look better for you, and like, you know, what do you think? And she's just like, oh, don't worry, babe, I'll take you around. And he's just like being nervous and has this energy, and she finally asks him what's wrong, and he's just like, no, I'm just nervous because, like, you know, people are staring at me, and you know, and you know, you're just so beautiful. And he's like, your country is so beautiful. They're like literally still at the airport. It's nothing beautiful about what he's saying, nothing. And she's just like, calm down, babe, everything will be okay. And she's just like, she's like, I'll take you to get clothes. Do not worry. It will be fine. And then we jump back to Karine and Paul, and they get their results. And so the results came in, and he's really excited because she's not pregnant. She doesn't have an STD. And she's just like, yeah, great. And she mentions how she wanted to hit him in his face because how mad she was about this entire situation, about him making her do this. And now that he's got, you know, this, will he trust her? And like, don't be neurotic and crazy. And he's like, yeah, you know, I can do that. And then she's like, okay, so let's have sex. Like, basically, let's get intimate now. And he's like, oh, now? And she's like, yeah. And he's just like, and it turns out he hasn't had sex in 10 years. He's 34, so he's had sex since he was 24. And that infidelity, that thing that happened to him that messed him all up, happened 10 years ago. He's still holding on to that. Okay, whatever. So then they start to kiss, and I was just like, it was the most awkward thing I have ever seen. She's like, ah, onto him, and he's like, oh, no. Oh. Like, he doesn't know what to do. Like, you know, like, I hope she helps him to stop being a weirdo. Like, that's how I felt when they were kissing. I was like, so disgusted. Why would any, like, and I think Courtney knows that he's like a doofus. Like, I think she knows that she's gotten like the nerdiest nerdy of the nerds. I just don't like sometimes the way that like these guys make it seem like they're doing these girls a favor. Like, I feel like Patrick kind of had that a little bit. Paul has it. Larry, not yet. But I'm just like, Karine and Jenny both have something over their guys. Like, they're smarter. They're more with it. They're more fashionable. They're more everything, I think. Let's finish this off. So we go back to Antonio and Courtney. They wake up the next morning, they're taking selfies and, you know, being really cute. And actually their selfie pictures are coming out kind of cute. And I was like, oh, okay, all right. And they're doing Snapchat filters, which are my favorite things in the world. And then they go and have like a FaceTime meeting with her parents so that, you know, she can prove to her family or her parents that Antonio is real and he's who he said he was. His accent is so, I want to hear him speak Spanish because I feel like his voice speaking English is so weird. It's like, I just want to hear him speak Spanish so that I can hear what he really sounds like, because I think he sounds like something weird speaking English. Pinching her butt while they're on the phone with her parents, and she didn't like that. She was just like, I don't know why he thinks that he's going to be able to do that. I want him to work for it, and I don't know why. And I'm just like, Courtney, you flew to Spain to meet with a guy and then to like not have sex with him. That is shocking to me too. Like, I see where you're coming from, but like, your choice to go there and then to be a prude is odd, right? It's odd, especially without having the conversation prior that that's what it was going to be. Like, I wish that she had been like, I'm very conservative and this is not going to happen if I come visit you, but I do want to see you. So anyways, they end the phone conversation with her parents, and she goes for whatever reason and picks up his phone, and then it's like, I just picked up your phone for 5 minutes and I see that all these girls are talking to you and I feel dumb because I came all the way over here. And I'm like, girl, first of all, put his phone down. First of all, put his phone down. Secondly, if you did pick up his phone, don't mention that, because you don't know who those women are. They could be his friends. Like, stop jumping to conclusion. He owes you nothing, as he's let you know by the way he's treated you for the last 24 hours. He doesn't owe you anything, nor does he feel like he owes you anything. So you need to let that go ASAP. He is not your knight in shining armor. You all are not going to get married, so just let all that go, girl. Because you came over here for one reason and he thought it was for a completely other reason. So I thought that was weird, and that was the first time I was like, Courtney, girl, I mean, what are you doing? And then the last bit, we see him ironing with literally the smallest iron and ironing board I've ever seen in my entire life. That's how small his apartment is. He doesn't even have a full, big iron. It's like he's ironing with a travel iron and ironing board. And that is the end of that episode. An hour. I thought it was going to be 2 hours. I was so disappointed. I was so disappointed. Anyway, so we have to wait for next week to see what else happens. I don't actually know if this series is going to turn out with any of them going into a real 90-day fiancé, because this is just, as I'm figuring out, this is its own like little mini thing in itself. Like, the real season of 90-day fiancé starts in October, and I think I will be watching that, for those of you who wanted to know about that too, because I like this. I like having this conversation with you guys. Oh, and also I'm going to be watching American Beauty Star, which is a makeup competition reality show, and guess who's in it? Guess who's in it? Our very own Time, the infamous, from here on YouTube, and I'm so happy because I'm rooting for her. I want her to go far. I mean, I follow her on Snapchat, and when she came to LA to film it, she was real secretive about it, but she wasn't in LA for that long, which leads me to believe that she didn't go very far in it, but I could be wrong because I don't exactly know her timeline, nor do I know how fast each competition was. The competitions could have been one every other day, one a week, I don't know, but I really want to watch that, and I'm definitely going to do reviews on it, and I hope you guys will watch that with me too. And if not, it comes on Lifetime. It's on Thursdays. I believe it's after Project Runway or before Project Runway. Not quite sure, but if you can check it out, go on ahead and check it out. And I will have the reviews up probably Saturday or Sunday. Girl, my calendar is going to be so busy with shows and videos to put up. So I hope that I can keep up with it. But yeah, I'm going to be watching our girl Time, and I'm going to be rooting for her because I love her so much. I think that's all I wanted to say for this episode, you guys. If you want to join the conversation, please leave a comment down below. If you like what I do here on this channel and you want to consider becoming a Patreon patron, please do. The link will be down below. And that's it. Remember to be you, be true, and find your place. Okay, bye. Thanks.